First together, so a budget hearing, and I guess first we'll have the invocation and the pledge. I think Councilmember Broadway is going to be kind enough to say the invocation for us. So if you will, please stand. Let us pray.
Our dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this city. Thank you for sparing us the ravages that we see in the middle of our country. Help us to be prepared should that ever happen here. Thank you for all the blessings you give us. In His name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. We'll say the pledge of allegiance.
I'm sorry, I'm feeling well.
You go sit down?
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm not feeling so well.
You good?
I'm
Sit
good.
down?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm sorry.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, just give me a minute. I felt kind of lightheaded.
There you go.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, we'll have a roll call, please.
Mayor Allen.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Aycock.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Broadway.
Here.
Councilmember Stevens.
Here.
Councilmember Foster.
Present.
Councilmember Hanks.
Here.
We're all here. All right, well, this is a public hearing, so we'll turn this over to the city manager to start the process.
Mayor and Council, our Finance Director, Kay Scott, will give a brief overview of the budget, and then you conduct the hearing after that.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council.
Good afternoon.
Item A is the public hearing for the recommended budget for fiscal year 16-17. General statute requires that the City Council hold a public hearing prior to adopting the budget ordinance to allow citizens input concerning the budget. And as the city manager said, I do have a few slides just to talk about an overview of the 16-17 budget here. The following charts are just a summary of the 16-17 recommended budget presented to council the 1st of May and has been on file in the city clerk's office. Fiscal year 16-17 approved budget was a little over $54.6 million, and fiscal year 16-17 recommended budget is a little over $57.7 million. The difference between the budget years is an increase of approximately $3 million. There is no recommendation in next year's budget to increase property taxes. The recommended budget does include a 2.5% water and a 1% sewer rate increase, which is around 5% per 100 cubic feet for each of those rates. The average customer will see approximately a 60-cent increase in their monthly bill. This slide is the recommended budget by revenue source, which we have our user fees around $21.8 million. This includes our water, sewer, our garbage, recreation and golf fees, permits. These are some of our user fees here. Property tax is a little over $16.4 million. Sales tax around $8 million. Our state collected local revenues, such as our POW bill, our utility franchise, beer and wine revenues is around $14.1 million. We have our capital returns, which is our investment earnings, equipment loan proceeds, and assessment returns around $2.1 million. We have grants in our agencies around $5 million. And our fund balance withdrawal is recommended to be a little over $105,000, which is from the utility fund, for total anticipated revenues of $57.7 million. Where it comes from, this is just a slide that breaks out the revenues by percentage and where it comes from. As you can see, our largest is our users' fees, which is 37.8%, with property tax around 28.5%, and then sales tax follows at 14%. Our state collected revenues at 7.1%, our capital returns at 3.7%, grants and other agencies at 8.7%, and then our fund balance at 0.2% there. This is a slide that breaks it down by fund. Our general fund is a little over $40 million, utility a little over $16.4 million, occupancy tax $798,789, and our downtown district at $73,898, for our total funds of $57,723,174. I broke that down of where it goes as well by percentages, which shows our public utilities at 26.1%. This includes our utility maintenance, water plant, water reclamation facility, and our compost facility. Our general government departments, downtown, Goldsboro Development, Travel and Tourism, 16.9. Our special district, which is our debt service, shows 8.4%, and police department at 14.7%. Public works at 9.9%, which includes our garage, building and traffic, streets and storms, sanitation, cemetery divisions there. Fire department at 9.9%. Recreation and parks, along with the golf course, is at 6.1%. Our occupancy tax fund at 1.4%, and municipal service district at 0.1%, and our capital expenditures at 6.5%. We have some recommendations for our agencies this year. This is a list that shows the allocations in fiscal year 15-16, along with our requests that we received for 16-17, and then the recommendations in 16-17. The list here for our general fund is $435,026. We had a few increases this year in our recommendations. The Arts Council went from $25,000 to $30,000, which is a $500,000 increase. Wages, $15,000 to $20,000, and the museum went from $12,000 to $15,000. And then we moved Waynesboro Park from the occupancy tax fund to the general fund, which is $25,000 there. And we added WISH at $5,000 from the general fund. We also included the community development fund, which is our HUD fund, at $48,589 for a total for our agencies at $483,615. There's no action is necessary tonight. Council has the budget work session scheduled, and any changes to the recommended budget will be made prior to the adoption of the fiscal year 16-17 budget. A recommendation for adoption will be made at the June 6th meeting.
Any questions of Kay? Thank you, Kay. Thanks for
Thank
all
you,
your
Kay.
work, you and
Thank you
all
so
your
much.
staff for all your work on this. All right, well, with that, this is a public hearing. Would anyone like to make any comments about our budget? If you would, please come up and give the clerk your name and address. If anybody wants to speak, you better come on. Yes, sir.
Sir, may I?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, council members.
Let her have your name and address.
Donald Coles Jr., 111 Glenwood Trail, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Thank you. Council members, mayor, city manager, friends. I'm here today to talk about the 4-Day Movement. It's a newer nonprofit here in our city. It was born on June the 4th, 2013, and we received our 501c3 on February the 9th, 2015. We are a grassroots, boots on the ground organization here in this city that has seen everything from single moms sleeping in their cars to helping some of our local athletes who could not afford to go to camps, help them go to camps. We are a mission-oriented nonprofit organization that prides ourselves on helping those that are falling through the cracks of life, and we normally are able to do that within 4 days or less, thus the name 4-Day Movement. I am honored that I was chosen to lead this nonprofit. We have a very aggressive and a very active board that works with us to grow, and our corporate offices will be here in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Wayne County. I come before you today to present an organization that will help those who nobody else sees. We have 4 programs. One of the programs is called Project ACE, Assisting in Crisis and Emergency. We have Project SAVE, serving and assisting veterans and elderly. We have E4, which is enrichment, empowerment, education, and employment. And then we have Project CLEATS, which is caring and loving every adolescent and teen in sports. And every one of those have their own objective and their own mission, but ultimately is to help those who are falling through the cracks of life here in Wayne County, 4 days at a time. So I come before you, I have a budget, and I have put some stuff together, and I'd love to be a consideration for your 2016-2017 budget. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today.
You're going to give us what you want us to have on the budget?
I will present to you in just a little bit. I have my packet that I will give to Ms. Scott.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Would anybody else like to comment on the budget? Yes, sir, Ms. Wright. We know you, but give her your name and address,
Charles
Lisa.
Wright, Winslow Circle, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Good evening, Mayor, City Council.
Good evening.
Years ago, my speech teacher taught me how to use the visual aids. So I bought some this evening, a bottle of water and a Snickers bar. And what that symbolizes is to differentiate between what our wants are and what our needs are. And I don't need to tell you, a Snicker bar represents a want, and probably water represents a need. That will preview into reviewing of the budget. Under first, I'd like to thank the city manager and those who put the budget together and format it in a way that was easily understood. And I'm going to address you in the way that it's formatted on your website. First, looking at improved public safety. Under improved public safety, I'd just like to make some comments and have some questions about what's called an aerial fire truck. That's about $1.5 million according to the budget. And the only questions I have on that is two. One, have we made sure that we have sufficient space to house this fire truck? If any of the city council remember the last time we paid $1 million for two $500,000 fire trucks, we found out we didn't have a building large enough to house them. So those two $500,000 fire trucks stayed outside the whole year in winter and snow and ice and blizzards. So I like to think of that. Also, I like to see if we really have a need for that. I don't mean to be negative on the aerial fire truck, but it seems like most of Goldsboro structures, including homes, are not that tall in height. In fact, maybe a good ladder from those could suffice. But when I think of aerial truck, I'm thinking of downtown major cities with tall buildings, but maybe I could stand corrected. As far as 10 vehicles is next that I noticed. And 10 vehicles is for the police department. But what caught me here is it says the take-home program. And if that, you mean that each police officer, which is about 100 certified, our goal is to have each officer take a police vehicle home and then bring it back. We are looking at down the road, if not soon, of having $4 to $5 million just worth of police vehicles. And I'm not sure that a new police vehicle is going to improve public safety. If it is, then I would be the first one to say get as many cars as you want. But I would like for that to be reviewed. And the thing that I found that was missing was that in 2009 and 2014, and in 2014, this city council and previous mayor had a retreat, and they discussed a program called CALEA, which stands for the Commission on Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies. According to your own minutes, that program was well received and was slated for adoption by the police chief at that time as soon as housekeeping and moving and those type of things was taken care of in the police department. There was no mention of this on your new budget at all. So I don't know if that was just written off, forgot about, or where the current status is in that. It's not a very expensive program. I mean, we were only talking probably about $5,000 or $6,000 total. So that could easily be worked in, and it does relate definitely to public safety. Second on my list is the appearance of the community. And I did read that the city has gotten a lot more aggressive with houses that's been abandoned. I can say that because of my own street has a house that was caught on fire 6 months ago. It has a sticker on it. I like to suggest, though, that we go a step further, and when we abandon these houses, put them on the website, put down the street and the address, and what's going to become of them. I mean, is there something gonna happen? Is it gonna be tore down? Is it gonna be sold? But just don't let the house just sit there month after month, year after year, and just be an eyesore to the community. And a good way of doing that is put these houses that's abandoned on your website and put down what's gonna happen to that. So someone, a citizen can look online, see this abandoned house that may be in their community and know the status of it. And not just a house just sitting there forever and nobody knows if the owner's been contacted, if it's gonna be condemned and tore down. You know, give us a status. The other item that I found of interest is a bond referendum for the streets. And I will leave that, I will not comment on that, only to say, a lot of times, I would like to see some specifics. If the city's asking for roughly $7 million, if not naming the street, what part of the city is gonna be paved? What part of the city is gonna have street work? It seems like it's a very vague entry for such an amount of money. Moving on, quality of life. Under quality of life, it's a reference made to redesigning Herman Park Center. And my only question there is several. One, has this been through the Goldsboro Parks and Recreation Committee? I don't remember seeing it as a part of their plan, the last complete plan that they put forth where they wanted certain facilities. And exactly what the redesigned Herman Park Center is going to consist of. Anybody familiar with Herman Park know we have a whole lot over there on that 4 square blocks. We got a tennis court, we got a children's park, we got a new park we got put there, we got a little miniature train, we got food market sales that sells vegetables on Friday or Wednesday evenings. We have a library, we have the Herman Park, we have parking. There's a lot. We have even gardens out there. So it's a lot in that area. And I just like to, I think if we're going to move forward in that, the public needs to have some specifics on that. There's also a $3 million for jump-starting the multi-sports complex. Couple questions I have on that is previously we said we was going to get, or the city is quoted in saying in their literature and in the newspaper that the $3 million jumpstart money was going to come from a very low interest loan from the county commissioners. So this $3 million now that you want to put on the bond for jumpstarting, is that $3 million that you're getting from the county, and you want the taxpayers to vote to tax their houses for another $3 million, and together you're gonna have $6 million to jumpstart the multi-sports complex? Or are we only, has the county commissioners reneged on their deal, said, sorry, Goldsboro, you're not getting $3 million, go out and get it on your own. So that's not really specified in the budget. It just says $3 million to jumpstart. And the only thing that caught me is the use of the word jumpstart, because that was the same terminology that you used when you was getting the money from the county commissioners. You said that $3 million was the jump start. So now I'm seeing another $3 million for another jump start. So I would like for that to be clarified. And also, we need to rename and stop calling this a multi-sports complex when we know it's going to be a premier soccer tournament venue. Nothing more, nothing less. And even members, including the mayor, has referred to it as such. But we keep going back to the terms multi-sports to make it seem like it's something that it's not. It's going to be, from the way it's described and the way it's described in the contract, it's nothing more than a very expensive soccer tournament venue similar to what's at Wake County, at the Wake County Soccer Complex in Cary. And it needs to be addressed as that. And these soccer tournaments, it's well known that the vast amount of the children that's going to be attending these soccer tournaments once it's off the ground are going to become from white middle-class families. The vast amount of the people that, children that represent these families live outside of the city limits. And for this, I find this discriminating and exclusionary. And then for the city to turn around and say, well, Mr. Wright, I want you to vote to approve to raise your home taxes so your home taxes can go out, so the children all over the county can enjoy, and children outside the county can come to this soccer tournament venue and have a good time, and they're not paying any of the costs. You're not asking those children, those families that live out in the county, who the vast majority is going to utilize this structure, you're not asking them to raise their taxes because you can't. So I really would like for the city to examine that again. It's almost reminds me a little bit about 60 years ago, Montgomery bus boycott. But then the African Americans was only asking just to be able to sit anywhere on the bus. This is like saying, Mr. Wright, help us buy the bus, but oh, by the way, there's no seats for you. You can get another bus when it comes down the way. It's to be another bus coming soon, and you can get on that bus. So I kind of look at this and continue to look at this because it's down for Goldsboro as improving the quality of life. And I'm not sure it is going to improve the quality of life of the majority of the citizens who live in Goldsboro. I'm not saying it's not going to improve somebody's quality of life, but I'm just not sure is it going to be the majority of the citizens who live in Goldsboro's quality of life. Moving on. Prepare for future growth. The only thing I can find relating to preparing for future growth is the additional vehicle tax of 10%, which I'm definitely not in favor of. I don't know where that's coming from. And also an increase in utility and water rates and sewage rates. So when I flush my toilet, I'm gonna be paying more money. When I drive my cars, I'm gonna be paying more money for living in Goldsboro. As far as the organizations, Arts Council, $30,000. I'm assuming the councilmen are very pleased with what the Arts Council is doing for that $30,000. In Waynesboro Park, $25,000. My visits to Waynesboro Park is frequent. I do a lot of my writing and thought process there, and it looks similar to Stony Creek, where people take their dogs out. Some of them unleash, some leash, and it is some people that go out and walk the trail. If we're going to spend or give $25,000 to Waynesboro Park, I would like someone on this council to at least suggest to them that they add a couple more picnic tables and get some of those iron barbecue grills that's permanent and make it a little more of a family atmosphere. So at least getting back to the citizens that we give spending money, a more diverse group of people can come out, have the opportunity to go out to Waynesboro Park and utilize. It's a lot of space for picnic areas and grills, and I can see that as something positive that would open the door for more of our citizens to be able to utilize that area. The other comment I wanted to make has to do with the jobs. There was a lot of switching of jobs on your website. There was new jobs, and there was people with old jobs going into new jobs. And I was just curious because it doesn't mention, are all the jobs that listed are going to be posted and open for everyone to apply? Or is this assistant city manager is just going to move from one job into another job and it's not going to be posted, it's not going to be opened up, it's going to be created. I guess what I'm asking for, are these jobs being created for the people that's already employed by Goldsboro and you're just moving them? Then it doesn't say that on the site. Or are these jobs going to be open to anyone who wants to apply? And before I sit down, I just want to make one general comment. Since I've been here, we've always had a habit of matching grants anytime Wayne, example, the Wings Over Seymour, which is a good, we contribute 50,000 and the county contribute 50,000. Back when the bakery, AP Bakery, we wanted to keep that from going under, so the city gave 50,000 or 100,000 and the county gave. And what I'm kind of saying now is I think we need to relook that. Back then when I got here, our population was near 50,000 in the city. Now it's down to 36,000. We only represent a third of the county population. So I think we need to get out of the habit of keep telling the county commissioners, you give half and we give half. We match, like we equal to the county. And I kind of take double fault at that because I pay county taxes. So I pay county taxes, and then when I pay city taxes, I'm paying more than what I think the full share. So the city can look at, and there's a couple instances where I see possibly that's being done. I don't want to stay up here all night and go through line by line item with you. But I bring that up just to say that if there are instances in this budget where we are going by that old formula, the city gives 50%, because the county's giving 50%, maybe we need to relook at that and tell the county, hey, we would give 30% because we 30% of the population, and you have the other 70%. But if you want to get Fremont or Walnut Creek to help you with your 70%, that's up to you. But I think we need to look at that again. And I think I brought up a significant amount of information and concerns that I have, and I hope it helps you in moving forward. And I hope that you have a lively discussion on some of these issues, and not just not just rubber stamp it, but to look at some of these issues and how we're spending our money.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Wright, I appreciate what you said today. I'm sure the other council members do too. I hope they do. Thank you so much for pointing out some things that we may have overlooked.
Okay, thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak? Anybody else like to speak at the public hearing? Going once?
Here comes time.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
I just celebrated my 20-year class reunion with Goldsboro High School, and I just wanted some clarity. It was brought to my understanding that the Goldsboro Dealer alumni could not march down Center Street due to the vendors downtown. Now, all the millions of dollars that venue generates each year, kind of felt bad for me to feel that we couldn't have our march through downtown Goldsboro where our tax dollars went. We basically literally marched through the housing projects, Slocum Street and Elm Street. Councilman Foster came out a year before I did. I didn't get to see him, but we had some meet and greets downtown, which our class met at the Rail House. We had a nice turnout, but it was brought to my understanding that the vendors downtown would not allow, the consensus was taken that they didn't want that downtown. I just wanted some clarity from the council if that were the case, because I've spoken with several proprietors and business owners downtown. They said they hadn't been asked about that. So I just wanted to get some clarity on the record, for the record, because there were so many different stories that the business owners didn't want the Dealer the Alumni Parade to take place, and I just wanted to know if that was going to be the situation for the future.
I'm going to answer your question to the best of my ability and give you my opinion. This is my opinion.
Yes, sir.
As you I may or may not know, I rode in the parade.
Okay.
And I wondered to myself why they weren't having the parade downtown. Now, the question is, do they want to have the parade downtown? And so I've got to call into Ms. Bird and a couple people to find that out.
Yes, sir.
Because I think it would be great to have the parade downtown. They had a good turnout. You know, the other side of that is the route that they took is, I didn't know if that's just because of history where they wanted to be. So I don't know.
In the prior years, prior to last year, due to the renovation, they had to have it where they had it. But all the years prior, if you look back, they've always had it downtown. So this was, I thought that maybe, I knew last year what the reason was, but if the years prior, it's always been that fact. And like
They asked, it's not, to my knowledge, they never asked to have it downtown this year, okay? I never heard that, and I don't think he's ever heard that.
Ms. Burden said, I spoke with Ms. Burden myself, and I spoke with Ms. Janet Barnes, and they said that they wanted to try to keep it historically going from District 4 to District 3, and that was the reason why they wanted to keep it going this year. Now, in regards to going back and going to have it downtown, I don't know for specific facts why they didn't come to the city and ask to have it downtown, but what they were telling me, and I asked because I was going to be in the parade myself. I just unfortunately had caught a really bad case of influenza and could not be there this weekend. But they said that they wanted to try to keep it historically going from District 4 to District 3. And that's where they're going to end up at HVE Brown and all that situation.
But they're I mean, as a matter of fact, it's almost to reach out to them and ask them to have it down there. Secondly, on that, to my knowledge, they didn't have anything at the event center, but at the time they did it, maybe they didn't even know about the event center, and I saw they had it in a lot of other venues.
Right.
Well, we would love to have some of that at the event center. So those are on my to-do list. That is our reach out.
I know like 5 or 6 classes, one of mine included, you spoke with 2 individuals. They don't represent the whole Goldsboro Dill alumni. They most certainly don't represent my class or Councilman Foster's class. And we had our 20-year reunion, and we wanted to participate. I mean, if you look at Facebook, everybody's on Facebook in front of the water fountain, in front of the different, sites downtown. And as a taxpayer, I would have liked to have seen that. Now, historically, just go back and look at the parades in the past, and they have been downtown Goldsboro. So,
well, you're welcome to.
Well, I think also that the city didn't reach out to the Dillard alumni to do anything downtown. I mean, it goes both ways. Regardless of whatever Dillard wanted to do, the city didn't embrace it. That was millions of dollars of revenue throughout the city. Every hotel was booked. That's the only time I've ever seen that in Goldsboro. It only happens once a year that every hotel in Goldsboro is booked, and the city didn't reach out. So, I mean, what were they supposed to do except for keep it in the district and keep it where it started?
okay. Thank you. I just appreciate the clarification. Yes, sir.
And I think that a lot of the merchants didn't know anything about that. I think that the Downtown Development Corporation, they would know more if the merchants approved it or didn't approve them coming downtown. Me personally, I would have loved to see a lot of the alumni individuals come downtown and shop and, just welcome them downtown.
Right.
They're always welcome in my eyes,
Yes, sir.
and I'm sorry that, that you feel like this, but we're here and we want them to be downtown.
And I think it's a city council decision, okay?
Yes, sir.
And it never got to us, because I can assure you, we would have been in favor of it. So
Okay.
just know that next
Yes, sir.
time, it's not up to anybody but us at the end of the day.
Yes, sir.
And totally, we would have been for it, and you can.
But we still have a board, downtown Goldsboro board, that didn't reach out to the Dillard alumni, which should have been done. Banners should have been up. We should have been welcome. It should have been signs. It should have been Facebook. It should have been everything. Should have been done to welcome probably 10,000 people into the city of Goldsboro over the weekend. So, but it wasn't done. So it wasn't Dillard alumni's fault. I would say it's more the city's fault for not embracing what was going on over the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak on the budget?
Hi,
Good evening.
Allison Platt, and I'd just like to thank you all, each of you who supported the Arts Council. That's what I'm here for. And because I'm a new member of the Arts Council board, there was a few little facts that I wanted to share with you that you might not know. I got this email a month or so ago from Sarah about the people who visit the website, the Arts Council website, and it was really astounding to me. It was like the best news that I've seen in a long time about a nonprofit organization. The Arts Council gets about 5,000 hits a month on their website or more, which is amazing given the size of our community. Since 2013, they've gotten 141,000 website visits and 119 individual visitors. The number of visits have increased 83, almost 84% since July 2013. As far as the history of the website goes, the increase in visits was 824%. The individual visitors was 1,150%, and the page views was 1,200%. The most impressive thing to me, though, is that we are attracting people to our community through the Arts Council that are not from this community, which, if we want to grow, is a great thing. This is a graphic that shows the number of hits on the website in 2013, and it shows the places that they come from. And this is a diagram of, in 2016, of visits to the Arts Council website. And you can see that, we're getting lots of visits from Greensboro and Raleigh and Charlotte, all the way up to Winston-Salem. So that means a lot of those people are interested in what's happening here, and they're traveling here to enjoy the Arts Council. There's been tremendous increases in Raleigh, Greensboro, Durham, Charlotte, Greenville, Fayetteville, Salisbury, Cary, and Wilmington. These are all like at least 800% going up to like 8,000% in terms of increase in visitors. So I applaud you for understanding the importance of the Arts Council, and I just wanted to share with you those facts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Going once, might not get to three. All right, we're gonna close the public hearing on the budget. And you want to recess to go into work session, or just adjourn that? How we want to do
I
this?
would recess to the work session, and we can move across, or you can stay here. We had set up to move across, but we could do it either way you want to do it.
Okay, we can move. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming.